Yo, man. What's up, y'all? When I say what we doing, I really mean what we doing. I don't even know right now. I don't even know. We playing video games. What we doing, y'all? What we doing, y'all? What we doing, everybody? Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. How everybody day been? Which I've been getting into. Think of it more. What the hell? Oh, royalty. What you want, girl? What you, girl? What do you want, man? Little girl, what do you want, man? What do you want? Can you let your dad work, man, please? I'm just trying to do right. That's all. Why you doing all this, man? Why you not letting me just do my job? Hmm? I don't understand why you acting like this. You should just let your dad do his job. You know what I'm saying? I don't want no problems. Why seem like you want problems with me? Listen, little girl. Let your dad work, man. Get him allowed to work. Hmm? No? Why not? You smell just like a kitten now. Nigga, you scratching my hand. All right, let's check this dude out, cause he.
Luigi Mangione situation is a perfect example as to why the American government wants to ban TikTok. Listen, see, after Luigi Mangione allegedly, a healthcare CEO.
No, you want no, cause you about to knock everything over. You did this. You did this a couple days ago. No, I got something for you. I got something for you, yo. Yep, go chase that. I want to hear about this.
Luigi Mangione situation is a perfect example as to why the American government wants to ban TikTok. Listen, see, after Luigi Mangione allegedly, a healthcare CEO in broad daylight, people say, yes. The American government said, are y'all sick? The American people said, I guess so. Now shut up talking to me. The American government said, ah. And this is where they have their problem. People are fed up, whether it be with the Izzies trying to take over the Middle East, whether it be with America's very
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know where he's about to go with this.
sketchy past, whether it be with terrible election candidates, but keeping with this example, whether it be about the United States healthcare system. Now, this isn't quite where the American government has its problem. They don't care if people are fed up. They care if people do something about it. And when everyone in a country gets fed up, people start to do. And this is where TikTok comes in. For people to be upset in the first place, they need information. So governments all over the world, not only the United States, need to manage how their citizens get this information. But they can't do that with TikTok because TikTok isn't under their influence. Okay, listen. Legacy news companies are under the American government's influence, meaning if you cross me, you finna have a problem. And legacy.
Right now, I have a kitten that's harassing a bigger cat.
Legacy news companies don't want no problem, so they give people what I like to call empty information. They'll say someone like, Luigi Mangione, United Healthcare CEO. People be like, yeah, we know, but why'd he do it? Legacy news will be like, well, because public support, the American government be like, Legacy news would be like, public support for the man that United Healthcare CEO is up. Now on to Jeff with the weather. But see, with TikTok, there's a lot more unfiltered information. You understand the whys of.
Yeah, I don't know about. I got cats. Both of y'all need jobs, man. Both of y'all. Especially the way you be acting, tiny person. Oh man, I'm exhausted.
Why things happen. The American government can't rear its head and put the influence on, because TikTok will just be like, what? I know what you're thinking. Well, what about other social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook? Are they under America's sphere of influence? And the answer is yes. And here's where things start to get wicked. Now, according to Facebook/Instagram's owner, Dominican Mark, during COVID-19, he was hit up by many government agencies telling him to take certain posts down. Now, according to him, he said, no, we're not going to take them down. Now, listen to this next part closely, because this is a perfect example of being in a sphere of influence. Because according to Mark, what happens next is the American government said, oh, okay, bet. And he says that's when Facebook starts getting investigated by the Department of Justice. They start getting sued. The American government starts really flexing their power towards them. Now, fast forward, Izzy start trying to take over the Middle East. American government looks at Marcus. Marcus says, what? What y'all want me to do? Shadow ban people? Take down posts? American government says, yo. Mark says, all right. Because Mark don't want no problems. But hold on. TikTok does its fair share of post censoring as well.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
Especially when the Izzies were trying to take over. And when I say was, I mean when it was like all over the news. The Izzies are still trying to take over to this day. Don't forget that. But I digress. TikTok censors some posts because even though they're not under the American government's sphere of influence, they still don't want to get on the American government's bad side, so they censor a few posts. And then they stopped censoring posts and just started letting people say whatever they want. The American government said, hey, yo, no, you can't do that. TikTok said, well, we make money doing it, so we just want to do it anyway. And just like what happened to Facebook and Instagram, that's when the problems start. American government said, hey, TikTok, sell your company to America. TikTok said, hell no. And that's why the American government say, you're banned, stupid. Basically, think of it like this. The American government is like a parent, a dad. Legacy media is this little boy, it's this little son, gonna do everything the dad says. And social medias, American social medias, had a little problem with the dad.
This sounds a little crazy, but I'm listening.
At first, but now they cool. Now they listen to the dad. TikTok lives in China. TikTok too far from home to listen to Pops. Pops call TikTok up. TikTok come home. TikTok be like, no, Pops. I go to the club. I do what I want now. So then Pops tries to ban TikTok's son from the household. The big TikTok ban, is it gonna happen? Is it not gonna happen? Well, let's talk about it. First things first, sure, I make TikTok videos, but I do not choose any sides, because to me, everyone involved in this situation sucks. That being said, TikTok had a problem. They don't even know what's gonna happen to TikTok in the near future, because this whole TikTok ban situation has been so confusing. But here's the bottom line. Everyone is battling for one prize. That prize being your data. Now, you've heard the word my data over and over again, but what does that really mean? Well, to put it simply, you know when you search up cats on any social media website, then all of a sudden you start seeing a bunch of videos about cats? Well, that means apps have collected your data. They say, oh, this person likes cats. Let's show them more videos about cats. But then it goes a step further. Companies called data brokers then buy all that information. Then those data brokers sell it to people like advertisers. Let's say a cat food company. It would say, hold on, she searched up cats how many times? You then see a bunch of ads on cat food. Now that's the basics of how your data gets around. But what if I tell you they have information such as your location, your search history, even who you speak to? Basically all the information that makes you, you. Well, that's valuable. So valuable, in fact, the biggest purchaser of your data in America is the American government. And if you're not from America, it's probably your government. Because, yeah, telling people what to buy is important, but telling...
Okay, this is interesting. What's up, David?
people what policies to like, not like, telling people who to vote for. That's pretty important as well. And this isn't like some big secret. It's essentially just really targeted advertising. Anyway, let's talk about where TikTok comes in. Well, their data collection, their algorithm is really good. Like the best in the world. The American government said, where them folk from again? China? TikTok said, yes, but we just doing what everybody else doing. We just doing what everybody else doing. And here's where it starts to get wicked. Back in Donald Trump's first term, he looks at TikTok and says, you think I'm finna sit here and let you take American information? TikTok said,
yeah, I remember that. I remember this video. I remember this video. What your videos do on the updates? How they update it? My other YouTube channel was live. See, look at that. I'm looking at myself from YouTube on YouTube while I'm on YouTube. That's so crazy. That's so odd. We should judge one of my videos. Let's see. Let's watch my Let's look at this one. Today is a special day. We're about to review the 10 hardest GTA missions. I want to see the list that they got. I'm hoping, and I'm betting that Big Smoke mission when you're chasing the dudes on the train, it's on. No, that's not me. I forgot that was a reaction, Joe. Do this one. And they ended up grinding. Let's check trilogy. It out. That would be Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, and San Andreas. And I did it without any cheat codes. So I'm going to give you guys a quick recap on all of those experiences I got from those 3 games and what do I really think about those games. I'm going to also talk about how do I think those games fare today. Like, what do they look like today? Now, back then, we know what they were. They were some of the best games we could ever have. Now, I know most of y'all already beat those games. Y'all probably beat them way back in the day. And I played them back in the day, got a lot of nostalgia moments with them. But I was like 7 or 8 when the first one came out. So there was no way I was beating any of those games at that time. I just didn't have the patience, the acumen. I just wasn't ready to do it. Before I get into the recap, understand this is also the definitive editions. These aren't the original editions on PS2 and Xbox and things. This is the definitive edition. So there are some upgrades in it. But still, we're gonna keep it true to the essence of the game. Starting off with GTA 3 Definitive Edition. Now, while playing this time around, it was hard to not reflect back on the good old nostalgia moments that I had from growing up as a kid. I remember watching my older brother play it. Me and my little brother, we tried to play it. We didn't do well, but we would play it and steal cars and all that good stuff. Now, here I am today as an adult, and that stuff is still fun. The open world experience, finding all the little secret packages and all of that stuff is still fun. And then, as I'm playing it and I'm hearing the characters talk, look at that. We got 398 views in this video, y'all. Obviously, the main character does not talk at all. But the other characters, you're like, damn, I recognize that voice. I recognize that voice. So the casting was great. The casting was funny. Like every GTA game, the radio stations that play as you're driving around are hilarious. And the very beginning of the game is the strongest point of GTA 3. And the reason I say that is true. Even though I'm one of the guys who played GTA as a little kid, now as an adult, it still felt fresh. It still felt fun, right? GTA 3 had a way, this Definitive Edition had a way of allowing it to feel like the same experience, but just kind of a 2.0 upgrade, especially with the graphics and the colorways, color schemes and things like that. Also, in the beginning of the game, the missions feel fresh. I'm not gonna lie, every time we don't talk enough about themes of games. There's some games that as soon as I hear the theme, bro, I almost break out and cry. Almost. And GTA 3 has gives me that vibe as well. Yeah, man. Right? Because you're doing this on this mission, you might be going to pick up Misty, right? You're going to pick up Misty, and then another mission, you're going to Chinatown to make a hit. But that's where the game starts to halt. Where GTA 3 begins to struggle is that the missions become really, and I mean really, really, really repetitive. So much so that after a certain point in the game, you're doing the same thing. Like, literally the same thing. It becomes shoot this person or catch this person. It just becomes the same thing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Now, it was still fun because the nature of the game is hard to not have fun when you're playing it. The open world concept, you go to different cities, you unlock different cities, and the trademark of GTA is betrayal. You get your lick back at the very end. What GTA 3 struggles the most for me is there was no connection for me. I didn't feel connected to the main character at all. It might be because he didn't talk, but I didn't feel I'm sure that played a part. Hey, come on, leave him alone. Damn, girl, stop. Stop messing with him. I'm dropping stuff, playing with you, man. Stop. Stop messing with him. I don't like how my body looking this connected to him at all. All he did was head nod, right? That's all he did. They would tell him go do this. He would just look at him and do this and walk off. He screamed every so often when he died or some shit like that, but I didn't feel connected to him. So that was probably the biggest struggle for GTA 3, amongst probably some other mechanical issues that I really don't care to mention, is that I didn't feel connected to the main character. Like, his story didn't feel right. It didn't move me. It was like, oh, you were a criminal stealing and she betrayed you and then you killed her at the end. End of story. When GTA 3 initially came out, it definitely was an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 probably because it was so revolutionary in what it did. But playing the Definitive Edition back, and I'm like, you know what? This is probably more like a 6 out of 10. There are definitely some things, some mechanical issues they could have fixed, some storyline staleness that plagued it that they could have fixed as well. But overall, it's still what it is. It's still one of the most revolutionary games that's ever come out that changed the way we play games and changed the way that games are created. So shout out to GTA 3, but that was my experience. Next up, we got Vice City. Now, Vice City Definitive Edition, I have the least experience with Vice City as a whole. Like, that was the one that I didn't play almost ever. Yeah, Vice City was the one GTA game that I didn't play until I was like 27. Like, I didn't touch a controller with it until I was like 27. Wasn't intentional, but yeah, at all as a child. Like, I have no recollection of how any of the missions go, who the characters are, any of that. So everything I did this time around was completely fresh. The first upgrade that Vice City does over GTA 3 is that, number one, the colors. The color scheme is amazing. The game is brighter. It feels brighter, right? It feels brighter. The main character is talking. That's amazing. It was fun. Like, I can honestly say I had a lot of fun doing the first several missions of Vice City. like traditional GTA games, Vice City starts off with betrayal, but after the betrayal, you go around, you start realizing that the betrayal within Vice City goes deeper because he was betrayed long before the initial betrayal we see on screen actually happened. One of my favorite aspects of playing Vice City Definitive Edition was that I actually felt connected to the characters that were there. Like, I understood their motives. I understood how they thought. I understood why they were frustrated. I understood why they were nervous. I started to understand things. And to me, that was the biggest upgrade over GTA 3, was that the characters actually have character. Yeah, I still stand by that. Another element that I really enjoyed about Vice City was that now we're talking about buying assets. That we're buying assets and the assets are paying us. This was a great thing for young kids to get into, actually, to get us into thinking about buying assets very early. Obviously, I didn't play it as a kid. I played it as an adult, but still the same concept. So I really enjoyed that. That was just another element that made and it was relevant to the story. It was another element of just buying assets and making money from your assets, which was a dope thing as well. With those amazing pros, there is a con that comes with that. Because you have to buy assets, there becomes a point in the game where the game will pretty much halt until you buy the right assets, until you have the assets to continue the main storyline on. Now, while on the surface, that's not necessarily a negative. The problem is, if you have history beating GTA, like you played GTA 3, or in my case, you played a bunch of them growing up, and now you're playing in Definitive Edition, you have no idea that that's actually a part of the storyline. So you'll go through the game, just beating the game, and then all of a sudden, you're at a halt. And due to this is the really negative part, not necessarily a negative part, but a critical part. You end up grinding to make the money to buy the assets that you have to continue the story on. Because I was going around, I didn't use any cheat codes. I was going around buying my armor, my vest. I was buying houses. I didn't know that you need. I was very upset about that I had to go back and buy all these assets and all that to buy the property. And I could imagine that a lot of people back in the day didn't know that either. Because they didn't know that, the game became a lot longer than it needed to be. And they ended up grinding, probably doing taxi missions, ambulance missions, police missions, just to make enough money to buy the right clubs and buy the right assets to continue the main storyline. Overall, Vice City is the clear upgrade over GTA 3. The game looks better, the game feels better. The characters, you feel more connected to the characters. You understand their nuances, you understand their story, you understand their motives, their wants, their needs a little bit better, especially the main character. And I think where Vice City really turned it up was buying the properties and the assets. I think that was a really great thing. I just think they fell short with making that clear in the beginning of the game that you have to start buying assets at some point. Because up until that point, it wasn't clear to me, and I'm an adult. Maybe I was just rushing through it though. In the last game of the trilogy, we have San Andreas. Now, San Andreas I spent the most time with growing up. It also is the much longer game of the three. And San Andreas, I have so many like nostalgic moments with, like, I have so much nostalgia with San Andreas. I was thinking about playing it a couple days ago. Swear to God, I did. Took me about 25 hours to complete the Definitive Edition. San Andreas has the strongest storyline of the three. It immediately starts off with heartbreak with the passing of CJ's mom. Following that, it goes around with you earning your respect back in the hood and figuring out what actually happened to mom. And then you figure out that the two of your closest homeboys betrayed you, and then it's corrupt cops. There was a lot of depth to the story. The story of San Andreas is actually really good. And playing the Definitive Edition, it felt just the same. It felt amazing the whole way through in terms of the story. Then you got some other great aspects of the game. Building relationships, girlfriends, right? Dating, right? That's a part of the game. Territories, earning respect. All those things are great aspects of the game. GTA San Andreas has one major flaw to me though. Like, I'm talking about one really major flaw. And that major flaw is filler. There were so many missions on there that we did not have to do. There was way too. That game, I think they say the main story is about 36 hours or something like that. If you take out the filler, that main game is like 27, 26 hours. Like, you take a good chunk of time off. There's a lot of missions on there that's like, why am I ever doing this? However, what I can say is there is a set of missions you do with a guy named Torino. And Torino, at the very end, the very last mission you do with Torino is my favorite mission. He says, I want you to go get your brother. He frees your brother from prison. So there's feel-good moments in this game as well. There's a lot, like San Andreas has, of the three games, has the most in-depth story, bar none, because there's so many layers to the story, and there's even more layers they could have explored as well, but there were so many layers to the story that it was hard to not enjoy, even as a grown man today. Yeah, San Andreas is dope. With all the brilliance of GTA San Andreas, the filler of it, that's what makes it, it can drag. It can drag. You find yourself doing missions for truth. You find yourself doing missions for all kinds of characters, and you're like, bro, you have nothing to do with my overall objective. Why am I doing this mission? Overall, each of these games, GTA 3, Vice City, and San Andreas, at their heights, they were all like 8 out of 10s, 9 out of 10s, because the size of the games, the size of the maps, all of those things, the interaction between the characters, all of those things. But I think when you look back on it and you play it today, with all the information that we have currently, each of those games are probably like anywhere from a 6 out of 10 to like a 7 out of 10. They're all still very enjoyable. The nostalgia is undeniable. However, the repetitiveness of the games and some of those filler missions, you'd be like, bruh, I could definitely live without this mission. But I enjoyed it. And due to me beating these games in a week and a half time span, I would not be playing any GTA like games for at least another 2 or so months. I'm not going back in that direction. I'm burnt out on that type of game. Shout out to me for that video, y'all. I'm proud of that video. I'm proud of that video. Very successful reaction video. Proud of that one. I gotta play some ads. Back up, man. Let's see. Hola. This was 7 hours. Whew. I was getting my ass whooped. Yeah, it took me a while to beat this mission.
This is getting boring. Maybe a little spice things up.
Yeah, that was a mission, bro. That mission kicked my ass. All right, man. Should I play Bum Simulator? What if I play Bum Simulator? Ooh. Man, but yeah, let me hop off this thing. I ain't even gonna do this in myself because I'm beat down. I'm beat. I ain't even got no reason to even try to do that. I'm beat right now. Be back on in the morning, man. Check y'all out.